guys, welcome to the Ask Women podcast. This is going to be a special episode or a unique episode. Kristen is not here. She is on a job interview in New York, which may mean sad things for our show, but great things for Kristen, and we'll keep you updated on that. But she is in New York and hopefully getting an awesome writing job, which she so deserves. But I am here with Cam and Karen. Lee Potter.
Yes.
Yes. And they have a podcast called Sex Talk with My Mom. And we have been spending time with each other where we have been doing a podcast that is made for both of us that we can share. So this is like a little intro to this podcast. But why don't you guys tell my audience about you and who you are and what you do and why you're doing a show about sex with your mom?
Yeah.
No, sex talk.
Sex talk with your mom.
Yeah.
Not about having sex with your mom.
There's no sex with my mom at all. So where do we begin?
We've always been very close talking about sex. Do you talk? You said you're very open.
Yeah,
with your
well, I was
parents.
saying, I talk to my family about sex all the time. I mean, my mom listens to my podcast, so I'm very comfortable talking openly.
Yeah, so
We're talking about when he was in high school.
yeah, growing up, she was like very much the cool mom. So my friends would come over and talk about their relationships with her.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
We had a lot of fun. We'd stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning and just chat.
Yeah, and then in high school, my dad died very suddenly.
Sorry.
Yeah, and that really flipped our worlds upside down.
Yeah.
And so we our whole family kind of clung together.
Yeah, got you closer for sure.
Yeah, he's got
Much
a
closer.
sister and a younger brother.
And eventually you started dating again.
Yeah, I went out in the dating world in my 40s, and it was challenging because I didn't really know where to go. I didn't know about Marnie, the wing girl, then. So what I did is I thought to myself, well, I'm just, I'm going to start my own YouTube channel and help women like me, either through death or divorce, go out and get their ass back out there. And so I wrote this book, which I'm going to give you a copy of here, A Cougar's Guide to Getting Your Ass Back Out There. Mainly for women. And I decided to start a YouTube channel for women. And it turned out that there was just a bunch of 18 to 35-year-old horny guys wanting to know about cougars.
Right. So all the people watching her YouTube channel were just dudes.
Yeah. Well, so what do you tell these dudes? Like, what are
Same kind of thing that you do. Like we talk about how to get old. It's mostly how do I attract older women? Where can I meet an older woman? You got to read my new book, which is going to be called The Secrets to Dating Older Women. But basically, it's very similar to what you're saying. You have to do some self-discovery and ask really good questions and be a great listener. Be confident. Ask women, ask them about what their passions are. I think that's like the best question. If someone asked me that, I'd be like, you really give a shit about me? Make that person feel special.
But what's the difference between that and somebody who's in the 20 or 30 or who hasn't been in a relationship, like a long-term relationship?
Yeah. I think there's so many advantages. And as you'll hear later on in this podcast, some of the advantages of dating older because they're more experienced, they're more adventuresome. I think they are independent. They're not as needy. They don't play as many games. There's a lot of really good reasons. And usually you find a guy like your husband who's been with, was it your husband? I think you told that story later on in the podcast.
Oh, what? I want to hear what you're going to say.
That, if it was another gentleman, I forgot who it was. But if you have had a good experience with when you're in your early 20s or whatever with an older woman, you want to replicate that because they teach you so much. They're non-judgmental. You can do your own thing. You don't have to worry about is she playing games. There's a lot of reasons that relationship works really well.
Well, so is it different for you when you have a younger guy approaching you versus an older guy? Like, do you expect more from that older man? Or is there like a different way that you
when I was
each of
single,
them?
I've been in a relationship with a younger guy actually for 10 years. But when I was single and most of the guys were younger approaching me, it was great because it was like there's no expectations that I'm going to be in another marriage. I mean, guys seem to get divorced and they want to get remarried right away. And so I want to go back to how we started this podcast.
No, but these are important questions for my audience to hear.
Sorry.
Like, I understand, that's how you started the podcast because you were doing this show and
gotcha.
you're a
I didn't want to
comedian.
hog the time.
Yeah, but this is the important information for my guys listening. Is like, how
for
do
your
they,
guys listening?
Yeah, how
okay.
do they get an older woman if that's what they want? And if they are older, how do they have to act differently to get you?
I just think, there's you just use your charm the way you do any woman. And I think just be very super confident. You do need to have your A game. You can't dress like a little kid, and you can't act like a little kid because older women are not going to put up with that crap. Like
So what do you mean by acting like a little
like you
kid?
can't make a plan and then not show up. Like young guys sometimes do that. They play those kind of things. Oh, my buddies, we went out drinking. You can't do that. You do that and then you're done. And you can't also have sex and just be totally self-centered and just get off and not give a shit about the woman because you will not have a second chance.
So how does this differ from trying to date a younger woman? I feel like I would go use those same strategies to date a younger woman.
I think the expectations are that you're not going to end up in a relationship. Like a long-term relationship. If there's like a 20-year age difference, for example, if you're 25 and you're with someone 45.
So you're saying from the woman's point of view, she's thinking like this can't be anything serious.
It's not going to be that serious. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's playful.
So if it's not fun and playful, then you're out.
Yeah, that's not going to last. But usually it's such a great experience from I have so many comments on your YouTube channel over the last, how many years since 2012 of unbelievable experiences that younger guys had with older women that carry with them, and some of them marry them. There are people that do end up like myself in long-term relationships.
Do you think I would have to change the way I
Game?
approach women or my game by approaching an older woman versus approaching a younger woman? Or is the same thing?
I think you would do very well because older women would appreciate.
He's just talking about in general. Like, do you think that guys in general?
No, Cam in general would do better because he is less of a game player.
But so the guys who listen to my show, so if they're like, I want to date an older woman, would they have to act differently to date an older woman versus act like how they would act to date somebody who's their age?
I think they would have to find something in common, which is kind of hard. Like you'd have to find something that interests the person. I remember a guy I was like, I'm not going to be interested in this guy. He's just like, looked like a child. But he started talking to me about music and we had indie rock in common. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, this guy's not bad. I can find something. You have to find something in common because you don't have the traditional stuff that you have in common. You have to go places where older women hang out. You have to go to like steakhouse bars or discos or karaoke or country western bars or some place where there's live music or something like.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be
you wouldn't be going to the same
women
places.
my age at like a
You're not
Ruth's Chris bar or something.
Well, if you want to find older women, that's where you need to go.
Yeah.
You have to go someplace that older women are going to be comfortable hanging out, and they're not going to hang in the frat bars. They're not going to hang in the places that younger kids go, the clubbing. They're not going to do that. Unless things have changed.
Well, no, but it doesn't sound like they have. I wouldn't think that they have. I would think that's exactly the same.
But there are guys that just have this older woman preference, and they know how to play that game, and they do it well. I mean, if for someone who's sincere like you and confident and funny, I think you'd be, well suited for an older woman.
Thank you.
What's the difference in the way that they talk to you? Is there something that's like a hook?
They just have younger guys that were successful with me have a lot of confidence. Like one time I walked up to a group of guys because you can get older women like myself who want this too. I just walked up to a group of guys. They're hanging around. I'm like, which one of you guys want to dance with me? And like one guy stepped up and we ended up like having a year-long relationship. I mean, it was like maybe 6 times.
That's an example of you having confidence. I guess the guy who was confident enough to actually stand up, but that doesn't take that much. It seems like a very easy...
Would you say most women that are out and if they're single, are they looking for somebody to actually be the confident one first and just go up and approach them? Would most older women like that?
Expecting the younger guys still to walk up to them. But they will send out signs, verbally and non-verbally, that they're interested in a younger guy. Well, first of all, there's been many times I've been out with like 2 or 3 girls, and a guy will walk up to us and start talking, and one of the girls will like go, "He's cute," and they'll start talking to him. Has this ever happened to you, Marty?
That I've said that a guy's cute if he comes up to me?
No, that like you've been out with your girlfriends and one guy walks up to your table and just starts talking to you guys.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But what did your table do prior to that to signal? Like what are the nonverbals that you're talking about?
I think it's a lot of eye contact, it's smiling, it's body language, it's, hair flicking, and you might, you can, like I interviewed one of the male porn stars and he said he'd walk up to the table and just like make one little gesture and start talking. And then he'd sit down and talk for a minute and then he'd say, "Oh, I got to go to the bathroom," so that as he walked away, the girl could see his butt.
So do you think that older women are are more confident with men so that they're more straight with them about what they want?
I think they're more confident with younger guys. What do they got to lose? They're thinking, oh, he's just a young guy. Who cares? If you stick around, you're a young guy and you stick around, you're persistent. You're gonna take the weakest of the antelopes or whatever, or the one that is into it. I mean, because I've been with older women and they're like, oh my God, this guy was just so persistent. I finally just gave him my number, and they ended up sleeping with him.
Okay.
So there are, and you have friends that are like that have been in relationships with older women. Maybe they met them through work or whatever. And what have their responses been?
That is a great experience. I don't think it's a tough. I think you're preaching to the choir here. I imagine a lot of the listeners are already into older women. I don't think it's a thing you need to convince.
It's a new thing though, considering like 20 years ago. It was not.
And nobody wanted it now?
Yeah.
Well, before Demi Moore, everything, it was like, that was a no-no.
It was very faux pas.
It was like the other way around is totally cool. And there's still a stigma attached. I mean, whenever I tell my boyfriend's age, people are like, oh, you go, girl. It's just like, and it's not an easy thing to be in a relationship with someone who's significantly younger if you're the older woman. But it's worth it because there are definite, reasons that it works.
What do you think about men dating younger women?
That's a different dynamic. A lot of younger girls are looking for that financial support by dating the older man. It doesn't seem to be the same reasons for dating. Like the younger girl is going for that older guy for some financial reasons, for some status reasons, things like that, and he might be going for like, oh, I'm reinventing my
Do you think that's true?
I think that might be true for some people. I think another reason why younger women want older men is because they can kind of play a little bit of they have a more daddy-daughter relationship, which I think some women and some men want in a partner.
Yeah. Well, that's part of it as well. Do you think that there should be a limitation on how?
No, I don't think. I think age is a number, and if it works, it works. If there's a connection, it's a connection. I wouldn't worry about the age at all.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
so, like a lot of guys write into me saying, like, I feel like a sicko that I'm going after girls who are half my age, or that I shouldn't be doing this, or that society's going to say no, and
who gives a shit?
I that's what I say as well. It's like, who cares? As long as they're legal, like, play ball, have fun.
Yeah.
Why would you want to limit the people that you can connect with to just a small group who's appropriate for you?
I think that's key.
Defined by who?
You don't want to type, It just don't. You never know what your type is going to change over to.
Yeah. Well, so continue so you were doing the Cougar thing. So then how did you guys start this podcast?
So I was doing stand-up during I did comedy all through college, and then afterwards, so I was doing a lot of stand-up and talking about my mom and my stand. I had at first just one joke about her, and it got really well received. So I was like, oh, I'll just keep expanding on this set. And then I would just do full sets where I was trying to sell her book to the audience, reading passages from it.
Release your inner stripper, things like that.
And people would come up to me after these shows and be like, that's funny. Is it true? And I'm like,
yes.
Why the fuck would I make up that my mom is a cougar sex expert?
I have to say that I redefined the word cougar. I was trying to figure out, how do you describe this woman? That she's confident and, there's a special, it's not like a mature woman that's not going to work. It's not a single hot mom. It's not a MILF. It's just, there was no word. So I figured, damn it, I'm using the word cougar. It's the best that can conjure up. And we're going to do confident, older, unique, genuine, assertive, and racy. That's it.
I
Cougar.
like it.
An acronym.
I like it.
So I would include that in my stand-up. And eventually we made a video together that was well received. So we're like, we should just make a podcast. And we've been doing this for 2.5 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you'll reveal later in the episode that we've done together is that you listen to my podcast, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, your podcast is awesome.
Totally.
And it influenced a lot of our podcasts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I did not know a lot of our podcasts, but maybe
yours was one of the first podcasts I actually was listening to. So.
Right. You're like, I can do better than this. I'm going to make my own podcast.
I could do this better than this with my mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a fresh spin on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so awesome. So where do people listen to your podcast?
You can find us in wherever you're listening to this podcast. Just look up Sex Talk with My Mom. And
with my mom. Where are you from originally?
Chicago.
Yeah, same with my husband. That's how he says
He's
mom.
from Chicago?
Yeah, that's where
you
he
picked a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good guy.
Where did you guys meet?
We met on the beach. I had dated two of his friends, actually. And so one person who it didn't work out with invited me around and kept inviting me and my girlfriends around too, because he had guy friends. And he's like, come to the beach. We have margaritas on the beach. We play volleyball. Come hang out. And I met my husband on the beach. We talked for a couple of hours. I was not attracted to him, but I kept,
So weird,
I kept
because I
seeing
wasn't
him.
attracted to my husband when I first met him either.
It's interesting,
And it's
right?
good to be friends first, I think.
Well,
You
I
find out
wouldn't
way
say that
more
we were
information.
friends first.
Oh, because
Like,
he
we-
thought you were a little hussy.
Probably. Or I was a lot younger than him too. So he was like, oh, this is just like some young little girl running around. She's not anything serious. But he did actively pursue me. He would come up and talk to me every single time that I would hang out with those guys. And then like the third or fourth time we were hanging out, his behavior was different. He was wearing glasses. He was sitting down. I don't know. It was just different. And he was sarcastic with me and witty. And I was like, oh, is this guy cute? I can't really tell. And something like just made me see him differently. He wasn't my typical type. Like, I used to love short Jews. Like, that was my type and who I was into. Like, I would have been all over you, like, 15 years ago. Like,
Wait,
you're...
I don't know if that was a put down or what.
No, but I'm
like
saying...
short-
It's not that, but I'm saying, like guys who are, like my size, or not my size.
making
Not
it worse
not
right
making
now,
it worse.
Marnie.
I know.
Yeah,
Sorry. No, but I'm saying,
a
like...
miniature Jew is what I was looking
Wait,
for.
it sounds like Cam's like 5'3".
Yeah, I mean, you're actually he is 245 pounds and he's 6'4". Like he's like a
he's
big
a
dude,
big
and he's
guy.
half black, and like he's just
half
like
black.
yeah,
We
he's just
look
like
a lot alike.
right, exactly. No, but I'm saying like I like other guys. Like I am sort of like. Making fun of you a little bit, I feel like. But I'm not.
You're
I'm
welcome
not
to.
at
Most
all.
people do
Like
it.
I'm not. That's who I was attracted to before. Guys who were like,
Are you attracted to my son?
I do find your son very attractive. I will be honest, but like that's you're my typical type usually, and he was just not even on my radar. And then because he persisted and just the way that he was acting, he caught my attention, and then I asked him for his phone number, and we went out. And it was not like who I had typically dated before, so it was very different for me, and it was a gradual liking that happened, but it was a
How
good
long was it until you had sex with him?
2 months.
Oh,
And that was a deliberate act on your part or his part or both?
My part actually. I had come out of a relationship before that totally set me back sexually because he was not comfortable with sex, and so it like weirded. I don't know. I was very weird about sex at that point. Like I used to be so open and so into doing things, and then I sort of closed myself up for a bit. And then when I met my husband, he reopened me
That
back
door
up, and I was
opened up
kind
again.
of weird about sex for a bit. Sadly,
Sex can really mess with people. If you have like a partner who's got some issues, it can really get into your head.
Yeah, it can. Like they weren't huge issues, but that he wasn't comfortable with sex. Like, so I would say things like, "What do you like? What do you want me to do?" And he would say, "Stop asking me that. Stop asking me that."
So then you're like
and
mortified
I'm like,
and ashamed.
okay.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so it wasn't a wonderful thing. But yeah, it
now
definitely
it's
set
a
back.
whole
But then I
different
met my
ballgame.
husband, and yeah. Well, we have 2 kids, so we definitely have sex still. But
Not
we,
separate bedrooms.
No, and we have a nice sex life, which is good.
Well, it sounds like he's a
Which is
hottie.
really good. He is a hottie. He's awesome, and so are you. I was
thank
not
you.
meaning to like.
Cam is-
No,
I
not-
did
going
not.
into depression
I
right
have
now.
a problem
No.
with language sometimes where I do like and I'm not even meaning to in my mind. Like in my mind, that's not even what I'm thinking, but it comes out wrong. So I apologize for that because you're very cute.
thank you. I was not
Are
offended
you
at
a
all.
Sagittarius?
I am a Sagittarius.
Am I good or what?
You are good.
How many times, even on this podcast, I guess at number one, because Sagittarius have a tendency to put their foot in their mouth.
Yeah, I do constantly. When we first started dating, I had bruises on my leg because he would kick me under the table so many times with things that
my
I was
God.
saying. And I'm like, what did I say? And he's like, you just said this. And I'm like, I don't even know what came out of my mouth. It was really bad. And now he's used to it, so I don't have any more bruises. And I've also toned myself down a little bit. But anyway, so this is a special episode of this podcast. This was a nice little intro to the episode we just did,
Yes.
which was me on Sex Talk with my mom. I wanted
Right.
to make sure I said that correctly.
it.
But I hope that you guys enjoy it because on the episode, we cover how to be casual when dating women and how to figure out what it is that you want and how to ask yourself the right questions so that you can get to the place where you can figure out what you want and why it's important to know what it is that you want. Because I think it's important for every single person listening to this podcast to always ask, am I doing something that I want? Am I happy? And am I on the right path?
Yeah. You also changed my expectations on what I should be what should I expect when dating?
Good. I'm glad. See, all these things I do, I don't even know it.
Look at that.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so keep listening. It's going to come up after this break. Want advice and step-by-step instructions on how to get the girl sent right into your mailbox every single day? Then sign up for your free Wing Girl Method newsletter at winggirlmethod.com/advice. When you sign up, you'll also get a free copy of my best-selling book, 10 Devastating Mistakes Men Make with Women and How to Avoid Them. Go to winggirlmethod.com/advice and sign up now.
Marnie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for
we're
having
excited
me.
to have you.
I am excited too. I think it's so interesting that the two of you do a show together. And I'm
we
glad
do.
that you reached out to me. I felt flattered.
Well, I was just telling you in the elevator that your podcast helped me date like starting 4 years ago.
Well, and then I was saying you're still single, so I've been doing a horrible job.
Yeah, I'll take ownership for
You
that.
can lead
Like,
a horse to water, but you can't
Thank
make
you.
him drink.
Thank
exactly
you.
right. But
A lot of my clients think that I should be able to make them drink, but I'm not able to. But yes, lead a horse to water. Give you the proper information.
You're full of wisdom. So I wanted to see if we can first dive into like how to meet people, because I think that's like the first obstacle that I've been.
Well, first, let's find out the name of your show and everything.
Oh, okay. Well, my show is called the Ask Women Podcast, but my business is called the Wing Girl Method, where I coach men around the world on how to attract, date, seduce, get, and keep any woman they want, if they choose to keep her.
There you go, Cam. You hear that?
Yes, and I did want to know, like, is this like pickup artist stuff, or is this a different category?
No, I don't even know how to make a routine or give people lines, to be honest.
I agree.
It's not, people have labeled me as the first ever female pickup artist or the number one female pickup artist, but I'm not. I think that there was such limited options out there for men in terms of self-help and dating advice that it all got lumped into one category of pickup artistry. But lately, it's been segmenting off into different sectors. So I'm a dating coach, or more so an attraction coach, because I teach
I
men
like
about
that,
how to
attraction coach.
create attraction and really be attracted to
Oh,
themselves.
I like that too.
Yeah.
So this is if someone is not attractive and they are like, oh my God, no one wants to talk to me, you can kind of convince them how to be charming.
Yeah,
or-
absolutely.
Wow.
Everybody's attractive. They just have
Right.
to
That's the
clear off
thing.
all the crap on top of them.
Oh, okay, so what's like is there a nutshell version of like what you usually tell people?
A nutshell version.
I know this is like a very extensive process.
Yeah, well, the key thing to my method and to the Ask Women podcast is that in order to get what you want, you have to ask for it. That's the nutshell. So you have to work up the courage to ask for it. You have to know what you want, and you have to be clear, concise, and comfortable asking for what you want. And then you can get anything that you want, or at least be okay with it if you don't get it.
Oh, wow. So I guess the first barrier to that is like, what if you don't know what you want?
Well, you should figure it out. And that's what I help people do.
How do you figure it
You
out?
ask yourself questions. You let me ask you questions. In all of my programs, I have, it's going to be overwhelming for some people to hear, but like a list of 50 questions to ask yourself to get to know you better. Because when you're walking
I like
around
that.
aimlessly saying, I don't know what I want or who I want, and I have no boundaries and I have no limitations and I have no expectations, then you're walking around like a mishmash of useless information. The more that you know about yourself and what you want and who you want, then you can say, yes, no, not for me. Or whatever the person's doing in front of you, not in line with what it is that I want for my life. It helps you be more selective and helps you really evaluate the people in front of you. If you don't know what you want, you're willing to accept anything because you don't know who you are and you don't know why you're valuable.
Is there a key question that is like pretty like eye-opening that people wouldn't think to ask themselves?
I would say that most people I work with would say I do have questions that give them that response. I think I ask a lot of questions, so for each person it's a different thing. But I think at the very core of it, it's what is it that you want? I know that's a simple question. It's very in line with what I was saying before.
Right.
It's not an eye-opening question, but I think so many people haven't asked themselves that in the past or don't realize that they can have what they want or they get to choose what they want, that I think once they read a lot more of my material and realize that they can ask for what they want, that it's pretty empowering for them.
It's about self-awareness to me, too. If you
Absolutely.
don't know yourself, how is someone else going to be a mind reader and know you?
Absolutely. And like I sexy it up, obviously. You know, what I do is I
Right.
coach men on how to understand women and get women.
Well,
So
yeah. And also, I put that on the women, too, as far as like, people want you to be a mind reader about sex, for example. And you can't be a mind reader if you don't. How can I read a guy's mind, for example, if he doesn't know the way he likes to have an orgasm? Or the same, conversely, like a woman who doesn't masturbate, how is she
going to know?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So it's all about like, first you have to know yourself. What are your passions? What do you want to do with your life? What are your goals? Well, and then mind and body, and then you can be able to go out in the world and figure out like who you're going to be wanting to be attracted to.
Absolutely, 100%.
So we're in sync there, Marnie.
Yes, good. I'm glad.
So you're able to help people figure out what they want, and then go after it.
Go after it. Yeah, you make a map and you make a path, and then it becomes easier.
Is that the main obstacle to finding what you want, or is there something else that you find?
It's the first step to figuring out what you can get.
It's the first question I always get asked. It's like,
Yeah.
it's usually mine is involving older women. How do I attract a cougar?
And what's your response?
You wear the cougar spray. No, that's not my response.
That would be some people's response.
Mine is the same way. It's about self-awareness, figure out who you are. And then, just don't be fearful about it. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go up and talk to them. There you go. I'm bringing up the Mel Robbins 5-second rule again, but you need to
it's 1, 2, 3, go.
yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just push her down the slide. Go up to that person, introduce yourself, ask her compelling questions like, what are your passions? Don't walk up and say some pickup line like you're really hot or one guy was like, is your last name Campbell? Because you are good. I mean, it's like the worst lines ever.
I feel like those are going to come back though at some point. Like
Pickup
if
lines?
you pull those off well, they're freaking funny. Like the truth is exactly what you were saying before about
remembering that, so it obviously worked.
Yeah, exactly. It caught your attention.
Yeah.
It's what happens after that line that's more important.
The first line is not hard. The second line is harder.
Yeah. So like I tell guys that it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. And if some guy came up to me and did that Campbell's line and he kind of said it like, I know I'm being super cheesy, but like I'm owning this right now, that would perk my ears up. It would, in some way I would bite back at him.
Using humor.
Yeah, it would be
humor
good.
Works well.
But if you don't have that base to start off with of I'm really comfortable with who I am, or I'm going to try and be comfortable with who I am and just go for it, like that boldness, women can feel that instantly. So if you don't have that in place, then you could say the most magical, panty-dropping, 100% approved line and it's going to fall flat for you.
No, I think Cam, like for example, not that you're the guinea pig here, but Cam can use his comedy because he's so funny, and it's like... anybody that uses humor can immediately get women. I mean, I'm convinced of it.
Yeah.
Thank you for thinking I'm funny, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
I have found it's thanks, Mom. I found it actually quite challenging to be, it totally depends on the night for me. Like some nights I'm like feeling good, I'm feeling confident, I can go up, I'm just in a jokey mood and I can just talk to someone. But then other times I'm like insecure, I'm intimidated, I'll go up to someone who I think is attractive and I'll like be this, I have the default of like going into like a darker, more serious philosophical part of me that it kind of
is like that pushes, what you do when you're nervous? I think you go to something more serious?
Maybe.
Is it?
That's one defense mechanism.
This is
I think so, yeah.
How long? And all of a sudden you got right to the core of Cam's issues.
No, he got to the core of it. He was saying this. No, but it's interesting. Do you know how to fix that?
I was going to ask you, how do you fix it?
You honestly just announce it out loud. So once you start to notice it, you can adjust it either on your own and just say like, okay, now I'm being too serious. And you can pre-program yourself. So like if you know that this is a habit that you break into when you do get nervous in front of somebody, you can have an example of something that you've said in a lighter situation that you can pull out of your back pocket and say, okay, when I'm noticing that I'm getting really serious, I can just lean on this joke or this quote or this whatever it is to get me into a lighter mood. Or the best thing that I think is really to just say it out loud, like, oh my God, I'm super serious right now, aren't I? Because then you can make light of it and then switch it up.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And then it gets it off of your shoulders of like, she must be thinking I'm being so super deep and serious and being self-conscious about it.
Yeah. I
Would you feel comfortable doing that?
yeah. I mean, you just saw at lunch. I went up to like one of my favorite comedians and like gave him a straw because he gave me a straw the last time he saw me like years ago.
That's cool. Who was it?
Nathan Fielder.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Oh, Nathan, for you?
He's like,
No.
it's in kind of an obscure comedy show,
He's
but
very, very
it's very
obscure, but
funny.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm out of the comedy world. Even though Kristen is my co-host and she's a comedian,
Oh.
I'm very out of it. So Jay Larson was my husband's roommate when we first
no
met.
way.
And so we would go see comedy all the time and like hang out with comedians. Like Jay would bring all the comedians home and we'd just laugh forever. And then like obviously I'm married now and I have kids, so we don't go out to comedy as much. But
And you have
I
a
used to
boner
love
hearing
it.
that?
Yeah, that sounds very fun.
Yeah, kids not having fun, not going out.
No, I'm talking about having comedians come to your house.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
okay. I was like,
yeah,
oh, God,
yeah,
is
your
that
past
exciting
life.
for you?
Yeah.
Oh, it was the best thing. I would wait up. Like my husband would fall asleep, but I would wait up until Jay got home because he would walk in with like Nick Thune and who else? Rory, whatever his name is, and like bigger comedians now. He'd walk in with them, and then we would just like laugh because they would just Sebastian, like people like that, like all the good comedians.
That's awesome.
And we just like laugh like crazy. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Does Jay have a roommate now? Maybe Cam wants to go room
He's
with
got a
him.
wife. His roommate.
his roommate
He
is
can
his
still
wife.
he can still go see his shows though if you want. Yeah.
Is his wife funny?
No.
Not at all.
Not on purpose.
Oh.
She's not even close to being a comedian, but she is hilarious because she's
Well,
not.
that's kind of how Nathan Fielder is.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what
make it
happens.
good.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe opposites attract.
They do.
So anyway, I think that's a rare occurrence though. If I see a comedian, I can kind of muster up the courage to do this. But I found that it's much easier if I'm like at a party or I've met someone through friends where there's like a reason to be talking to each other versus if I'm at like a random bar or something or walking down the side of the street. Or even in yoga class, it's like super challenging to like even say
Yeah,
hi
because
to
it's a
someone.
complete stranger.
Complete stranger.
You don't know why you're really approaching them.
Yes.
Listen, that's a normal thing, and I would say like the chance of that actually becoming something is not really that big.
Wow.
The number one place to meet people is through your friends and now online as well, or through apps in some way. So those are the better places to spend your time on. But if you do want to master like street game or whatever pickup artists are teaching you about how to approach random people, then that just takes practice of doing it, like going
I agree
and
with that
doing it
too.
day after day, because no matter what, it's going to take a while to get over that hump of, oh my God, I'm like randomly approaching a person on the
Right.
street. And you can use my method for breaking into conversation, which is called OSA. So
Okay.
it's observe, share, and ask. And if you've listened to my podcast, you've heard me talk about it a million
Jeez,
times.
Marty, I feel like we were like sisters in a prior life. or
Why? Do you
something.
teach this stuff too?
I-
Did you
I
steal
always-
it from me?
No, I didn't even know that it existed until just now. Oh, so, but here's my idea is like usually because I've tried to do the reverse and walked around the room. You talk about something in your environment, like you
Yeah.
just talk about, oh, look what's on TV, or if the person's wearing, my boyfriend's a master at this. If the person has tattoos, to talk about the tattoos or talk about it, what the necklace is, or something in the environment.
Yeah.
So you're not talking like you're not trying to pick someone up. You're just talking about things like you talk to another of the same sex person that
Yeah.
you're not intimidated by.
Yeah, but no matter what, at the end of the day, that is going to carry a different level of stress compared to talking to somebody who you
Yeah.
sort of have a reason to be talking to. If you're meeting somebody through a friend, you have some sort of connection already. When you're meeting a random person, you don't know what your connection is, other than the fact that you're walking on the same street or you're going to the
Right.
same mall. But those are the things that you can lean on at first, and then you can segue into other things, because women will give you information to use, even if it's one word or two words or whatever it is, and you can build on that one word or two words, because each of those words you have an association with. And as a comedian, you're really good at making associations. So it makes it
And
easier
observing.
for you, and observing
Yeah.
and having good, interesting twists on the observations. That's the benefit to being a comedian, because you can do something with that information. A lot of people are
good
not
point.
wonderful observers or association makers, but you get the benefit because you can have fun with it. So the observation of, you're not talking very much. Oh, do you like only one word answers? You know who I know who makes one word like you could
Right,
have an
right.
association with it to make fun of, like, I don't know, Charlie Chaplin, and bring him into this scenario as well. Because you're quick-witted, you can tie that in, but it does take practice to
And
be
it's
able
a balance
to
too.
be
He
okay
doesn't
with
want
it.
to be. He doesn't want to be like on stage. You know, you can't. Like, you
Well,
gotta
the
be
truth
careful.
is that in the beginning of approaching, you are on stage because you are presenting yourself to this individual who knows nothing about you, who could be afraid of you, and in today's climate as well, is like worried what you're going to do because you're a random person approaching her. But the more that you can share through your body language, through your facial gestures, and through the words that come out of your mouth, the more you can alleviate some of that fear from her.
Now, what if the girl's name is Leslie or Natalie?
Why? What's going on with
Almost
Leslie
all
and Natalie?
girls that he's attracted to are named.
No, here's what
Leslie.
happens. My mom is convinced that their name is Natalie. And I don't
she
think
only
I've
calls
ever
them
dated
Natalie?
a Natalie.
All right, maybe Leslie.
I at one point went through dating 3 different Leslies.
Nice.
That's where I'm
Okay.
going with this.
There's your thing.
So
They're very
if I hear
unusual
Leslie,
names.
Oh, really? I know so many Leslies. My
Really?
aunt's name is Leslie. One of my
No,
best friends in
they're
high school was
unusual
Leslie.
for someone in their 20s.
Yeah, that is
Maybe
true.
not unusual.
it is an unusual name.
Yeah.
But
So that's why I say I'm lightening it up. I'm lightening the mood a little here.
But let's hear what's going on with you in dating. That is an issue.
I love you. Get right down to it.
I think,
Or there is no issue. You're in your 20s. You're having fun.
well, not really.
Okay.
So I'm kind of, I find myself often in a bind
Okay.
where I would love the companionship of someone. But then when I actually start spending time with them, I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want to spend any time with this person.
Really?
There are a few people I actually enjoy.
Are you an
spending time with.
introvert?
Maybe.
No. Well, he literally said he did not have fun spending time with me recently on a podcast.
It was that I rescinded that statement. That was a mean statement. I did not mean it. But yeah, I think that is a
So you just need time to recharge and alone time.
yeah.
Or you really do not enjoy them.
It's hard to find someone that I'm both very attracted to and also very wanting
Stimulated
to spend.
But I
Yeah.
think that's normal
Okay.
too, right? If it was so easy, people would be matching up like crazy. It's
Well,
just-
it just depends because maybe the people that you're approaching are people that you think you can get as opposed to the people that you want. So you may not, are you going after the people that you want? Like, do you would enjoy them in the beginning and then just are like, this isn't so exciting anymore?
It's hard to even find people that I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not really that abnormal, to be honest, especially because you are in your 20s and you're probably focused on your career. So
Exactly.
if somebody's
Yeah.
going to take your time away,
That's
they
what
better
it
be
is.
pretty spectacular.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
totally.
exactly
So I get that. If you're and plus you're a man, so you're single focused on your career right now. So it's hard to be jointly as focused on women.
Man,
So
you're
it-
very,
yeah.
very astute. Exactly.
Well,
Thanks, Mom.
It's nice that you're kind of like because a lot of my questions are like, how much should I expect to really get along with someone when dating them? Like, is it something that you just learn to appreciate over time?
I will
or is
say
like,
that this is like a thing for people in their 20s. And it's a trend because I think first of all, there's so much stimulus out there. There's so many things available to you that can
freaking
catch your
phone is
attention.
there.
Like even now I have a 4-year-old and an 18-month-old.
Oh.
And I think about
Jeez.
like them outside of school. They have movies and YouTube and this and that and flashy things. Like for them to then go to school afterwards and have to like color and paint, that must be, it's like so one-dimensional and like not so, like my son does like it, but like of course he likes TV and like flashy things way better. So I can imagine the same thing is with dating. Like there's so many things that are out there and it's
Totally.
like, there's so many fun options of things to do that are virtual and real,
Right.
that to then partner up is like, oh wait,
Yeah.
it's not as exciting. So it's not a
Totally.
goal for a lot of people.
It's
Exactly.
it's almost like in porn also drawn not
yeah, for
not in
sure.
Cam's, for example. He doesn't really watch it from my knowledge and what we've
No,
done.
I've said several times
Yeah.
I'm not a huge porn watcher, but
Right, but I think porn really like makes it so super easy, especially with now with sex bots too and cam girls and everything. That why would people want to bother with real women? You know, that's
I mean, that is I know I'm going to be obsolete soon because some people aren't going to be wanting to be with real women because there's so many other exciting things. My sister is 27 years old. She has the most fun life ever. And she's like, why would I want a relationship right now? It's just going to slow me down.
We were walking just about a half hour ago, and I was saying I envy. You know, I have a boyfriend, living boyfriend, but I envy not having to account to anybody. You know,
Oh, my
because he
God,
was saying
yeah.
he's like, "What age would you want to be?" I go, "Your age. If I could do it over again, I want to be your age because you don't have to account to anybody. You could just do your own thing. You want to go travel, you travel. The only thing you got to do is show up for your job, and that's it. Make money."
Exactly. Well, you don't have to either. How old's your brother?
24.
Yeah, so you're fine. You can go do the same thing.
What?
Well, you don't have to be accountable either.
Oh, no. I have to be accountable to my partner. I can't just go and.
Oh, but I thought you were saying to your partner, you don't have to be accountable to anybody.
No, I was saying to Cam.
Oh,
Cam
okay,
doesn't have
gotcha.
to
I
be-
Sorry.
asked her
Yes,
what
exactly. Yeah,
how
go
old
to-
she'd want to be.
I thought you were saying your boyfriend. Okay.
No, him, we respect each other. You know, we're going to say, like, what are you doing this weekend? Do you care if I do this? Or even, whatever. You're checking in all the time.
I know, but to not have to ask somebody is pretty nice.
Isn't that nice?
Oh, do you want me to wait to see this movie with you?
Yeah,
it's really freaking
or
annoying.
this TV series. I wanted to binge watch something. You don't want to do that alone.
Yeah.
But I'm just as bad. So, whatever.
It's both sides. Like it is really
Totally.
nice being in a relationship and having a partner, but it's really probably very nice to go and be single again. Trust me. Like I get to help people all the time, and I'm like, I kind of wish I was you.
Yeah.
It seems fun.
Yeah, be careful for what you wish for, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm living through my friends who are divorced, so
Oh, and I was
I'm
telling
helping
him
them.
that that's different too, because then it's an entirely different.
because then you're used goods.
Well, it's more than they just use goods. There's just like younger guys have like this natural, like, non-hatred towards women. But as soon as they've been divorced, the men are like, oh, well, you're just, I've had men say that their ex-wife was just see you next Tuesday.
Want to know the hidden meaning behind what women say and do? Then check out The Chictionary. It's the Wing Girl Method's manual that gives you a full rundown of all the things women say that confuse men, written in dictionary format. Go get a copy of The Chictionary by going to winggirlmethod.com/chick. That's winggirlmethod.com/chick.
I've had, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, the mother of their children, that's what he's calling him. It's just, there's a hostility that's,
Because she was.
well, she might have been.
And he was an asshole too. That's what happens.
Yeah, maybe in his position, we don't know, and it's not my position to judge, but younger guys don't have that hostility towards women the way that, divorcees do towards each other sometimes.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. It's
So
difficult.
what kind of expectations do you think a guy should have, or a woman
Well, I
should
want to go
have?
back to you. So, what seems to be the issue? So, there really isn't an issue because you don't want to be dating.
I think you nailed it there. I mean, honestly, Kim, I think if you wanted to, you would be a lot more open to relationships.
Unless you see it as a problem. Do you see it as a problem, or do you think it's a problem because?
I think I want to be more sexually active than I am.
That's
okay.
where.
But then,
But you're boyfriendy.
yes, he
that's
is.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
you get
relationship-y,
boyfriendy.
yeah.
And I also don't necessarily like to have sex that's just like with a random person, and
Because you're boyfriendy.
Yeah.
so because I get turned on when I know the other person, like when I have that emotional connection with the person.
Yeah.
So I do prefer to be in a relationship for like intimacy's sake, but I don't really need it for all the other reasons people might want a relationship right now.
Well, you can still have a connection with somebody and be intimate with them without having a
friends with
relationship.
benefit.
Right. And that's been very hard to find.
That's why you need
Not
to
hard
go
to
out
find. You
with
just
older
need to
women.
adjust the way that you're tackling that, because most likely you act according to how a boyfriend would act, or somebody that wants to be in a relationship.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you get into a relationship space.
So what? Yeah.
So if you wanted to be more
seems very-
casual, like define casual, and then follow that.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what you're doing, but I can just tell from talking to you, like,
Yeah, that's
you're somebody
exactly
who's-
right.
who a woman would assume, yeah, you want to have a girlfriend. I would assume that about you
Exactly.
because you don't seem casual,
Right.
but you can adjust the way that you carry yourself a little bit, and that's like a longer conversation. But
That's
you
an
can,
interesting conversation. I think we have time for it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay.
Let's dive right
I
into
think we
that
have
one.
time for it. But I say I want this also. I'm very conflicted.
Oh,
So
see,
it goes back,
to what we said in the
original, right.
beginning. You got to know what you want, and then it comes a lot easier.
But also,
then
what
you have to do the
if
right
he
things.
goes for someone who he knows will not want a relationship? That's why I always love this older woman, younger men thing. Because if you're a young guy in the 20s and you're with someone who's like in late 30s, 40s, it's probably going to not end up as like a marriage, because unless it's like, like me and my boyfriend, there's a big age gap. But it's atypical that you could then have this really intense, great, sexually charged relationship without knowing in the long run that you're going to end up, that she's going to want to get married and have kids and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that I'm saying he should go for someone older
Just
to play with.
yeah.
Okay, so I think that's one option. We've also interviewed several women on this show that are around my age who just wanted casual sex.
But then it might end up that you get feelings for each other.
Yeah. So
And then
there's
it's like, well, then why, if we have casual sex, it's great. We have feelings for each other, it's great. Well, why wouldn't we go into the next step and have a relationship?
But it's a kind of a crazy thing for me to ask. Like, okay, I want someone who I'm going to have enough feelings for that I'm actually going to want that emotional connection to have sex with them, but not so many feelings that I actually want to be in a full-blown relationship with them because I don't have time and interest. But
That's why your mom's saying go for somebody older who,
Right.
like the likelihood of that working out as something long term or seeing each other as long term probably wouldn't happen, and they'll be distracted with their own lives because they have their own stuff going on.
Right.
But
They
you're
may have
also
kids
saying that's not
already.
really who's attractive to you, isn't right?
I don't know. I haven't found any. I also, given that I'm meeting people at parties and, friends of friends, it's very unlikely that I'm going to find someone 5 years out of my age range.
Well, how much of an emotional connection do you need to have with somebody to be able to be sleeping with them? Like, what do you need to be?
This is the question. Okay. This is really the question.
It's not. This isn't like an abnormal thing at all. Trust me, I'm a relationship person, but sometimes I don't want to be in a relationship. But I need to have that connection as well. But then I have that connection, and then I want to spend more time with them, or I want to be in that relationship, but then I don't. So I completely understand where you're coming from. So it's just something that you can adjust for yourself. So yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I had a couple questions.
Okay.
One, is this a common thing that you see guys dealing with? Or
Not the guys that I deal with. So I would say some people come to me with this issue of I'm not really sure what I want, and I'm getting things, but it's not really what I want or what I'm looking for, and I'm confused. Most of the guys come to me saying, I want this, but I can't get it. How do I get this?
right.
They want a relationship.
No, it's not about relationships. It's about options. Nobody's like, I can't wait to fall in love and find the girl of my dreams. I don't hear that very
that's
often.
what most of the people are.
No. But I would say that the end goal is for that. But I think first they want the options because they feel like they've never had the options, that they're limited in their
like
choices.
on a rating scale type of thing? Like, are you saying that they feel like they want like a 7, 8, or 9?
Oh, everybody wants a 7, 8, or 9. I don't think anybody comes and says, I want a 4.
So how do you tell a guy who may not be a 7, 8, or 9?
Well, guys are lucky. They don't have to be a 7, 8, or 9 to get a 7, 8, or 9. They can be a 2 and freaking amazing.
Especially if they have a lot of money. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's a bonus as well. If you have money and you're awesome and you're charismatic and you dress well, like you could do a lot with not being as good looking as a man. Women,
and then the women
on the other
conversely
side
have to have the looks, I guess.
Yeah.
I really believe looks is all in your mind. It's confidence that matters. Like
100%.
I always thought that, like, and we talked about this before many times, Cam and I, about, one of the girls in his class when she was like in junior high had all the guys after her, and she was not the most attractive in the class. She certainly wasn't the conventionally best body and everything. And she had all the guys because she was so super confident and so friendly and
For sure. But as a girl, you have to have that base there. There's got to be something. You can't be like
she wasn't heinous.
Right, exactly. But yes, I agree with you. Your personality definitely enhances who you are. So you said that you guys had also interviewed the owner of the Bunny Ranch, right?
No.
2 people that work there.
Oh, 2 people that work there. Okay, so the owner of the Bunny Ranch was on our podcast. He is not good looking.
No, he is not.
He is freaking charismatic. He is fat and gross and old.
Wait,
but
you would have sex with him?
Oh yeah, I can see how people would.
I
wouldn't. I don't know if I'd be in a long-term relationship with him, but I was like, I get it. I understand why you're attractive.
Immediately, what do you think I'm thinking? That damn disgusting, gross pubic hair that he probably has.
I don't know why she thinks so. She always goes to the pubic area.
That's interesting.
I have this vision of like, if I'm going to have sex with this guy, then he's probably going to be gross down there. I don't know.
But I wonder if he was more than just pubic hair to you. And the owner of the Bunny Ranch, if you got to know him and saw that he was charismatic and confident, I wonder if it wouldn't really matter as much.
I don't know.
I know, but I wonder.
I don't know.
Because
that's the reason I won't go into these swinging lifestyles, because I'm thinking, ooh, I'm going to get stuck with this. My boyfriend's going to be having fun with 5 girls over there getting a blowjob by all of them, and I'm going to be like, ew, I don't want to touch any of these guys.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because maybe you wouldn't be like that. Maybe that's just a fear of yours.
I don't know. We have to delve into that one day, too.
Seriously. I've wanted to experiment in that world, not as, like in a voyeuristic way, not in a participatory way.
I would do it in an exhibitionist way.
In what? You do it in front of people?
I haven't, but I'd be much more interested in doing that.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought if anything, you'd
I'm
want
a
to be the
voyeur.
voyeur.
Really?
I would like to, no, but it would be with my boyfriend, not like
obviously.
some random, disgusting, gross guy. That's what I'm saying.
And you would want people watching you.
I wouldn't mind. That's a turn on to me.
Oh my God.
That's
hilarious.
I mean, like, this isn't my fantasy. Oh. This is not in reality. I have never done anything like this. I'm vanilla. We talked about that. I'm boring.
We're stepping closer to making. I think
he keeps pushing me into
doing
this.
I'm not pushing. I don't want that at all.
So why don't you just try it?
I don't know. It just hasn't the opportunity hasn't arisen.
But even what you're doing right now is like you're making up all these negatives that could potentially happen.
I have to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Yeah, but that's what happens with all my clients. They like highlight all the negatives
Right.
and those go into their head about these things that could happen. I'm like, wow, how do you know that these things could happen? Have you done it yet?
Have you read the 5-second rule? You will love that book.
I didn't even know there was a book for it.
It's not the one that with your children that
For dropping
on the
food,
ground.
because that's a myth.
I know. Well, this kid lived even though he ate dirt, so who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
You did.
Oh,
anyway,
that's where your issues come from.
The 5-second rule of everything is, by the way, you have young children. Wait till you get in their 20s. It's all my fault.
I know, they get disgusting, right?
No, they get even better.
Oh, they get better. Okay. I know they get dirty and smelly.
No,
I have
they
2
get
boys.
awesome. The boys are the best, and my daughter too. So there's 3 children, and they're all.
We just figured out who mom's favorites are.
Oh, interesting.
No.
I know, it all comes out in the podcast.
When I say boys are the best, I mean easiest. There's no question.
I know, I've heard that.
Just easy.
I know, I come from 3 girls. I was like,
God.
we basically tore my
Poor
dad's
father.
testicles
Yeah,
off. Like, he
yeah.
has no say in the household at all.
Oh,
So I was
poor
very
man.
happy to have boys.
Yeah. Well, anyway, how do we get on that subject?
We were all over the place.
5-second rule.
5-second
Yeah,
rule,
sorry.
Mel
That's
Robbins.
what happens with me. I end up
Mel-
going down a
Mel
million
Robbins'
different
rule
paths.
can apply to all that what you were just saying. Basically, you and her would be simpatico because her whole thing is your brain in 5 seconds will tell you not to do something. So you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you need to act on
See,
it.
I have the 3-second rule.
Oh, wait, 3 seconds.
Oh, wow.
It's 3, 2, 1, go. When I first started doing what I was doing
Wow.
13 years ago, I had these bracelets made, like rubber band bracelets, because now it's in my hair, but typically I wear elastic band around my wrist because I used to be very shy, and
I was shy too, which is
Yeah.
so weird that
But this is how it happens.
Yeah.
It's like this is how you learn to be unshy, is by teaching other people, to get over it. And so what I had done was I would wear this hair elastic around my wrist, and whenever I was nervous, I would go 3, 2, 1. I would snap the rubber band, and then I would go and do what I wanted to do. So I made these rubber bands to give out to my clients.
good call.
Yeah,
Very, very good behavior. But I think you and Mel would get along great.
sounds like we would.
I've never met her, but I would love to because it really did alter the way I was thinking about a lot of things.
Good.
Can I veer us back on the track a little bit?
Yes, please continue to do that because I know that we can go off.
No, so I was curious. You said change the way that you're presenting yourself so that I don't appear as like a boyfriendy and give off more of a vibe like, hey, I'm just looking at fun. Relax. Everyone can relax here.
If you can think that in your mind, you can write it down in your phone or stick it on a piece of paper in your back pocket and constantly remind yourself of that.
That's his mantra, and when he meditates.
Yeah, it would be helpful to your interactions because I'm guessing
I'm not a boyfriend.
like when-
I am not a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm a Casanova. I'm a Don Juan.
I don't want to be a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And just remember that. So I need to know more of the things that you are doing when you're interacting with women. So like, are you asking really personal questions? Are you?
Oh, yeah.
So stop doing that.
What did you think of the meaning of life and Deepak Chopra?
I do feel weird. I feel inauthentic if I don't express that part of myself because that's a big part of
And it's probably a huge turn on for you as well.
Yeah. Like it's actually like super off-putting to me if I don't know the person and we're hooking up. I'm like, who the fuck is this person?
But what is it that you want to know? Like, what kind of questions do you ask people?
Kind of what
What is the
know.
meaning of life? He would like to have
Listen,
that
I've had great
understood.
conversations with people like that too, and then I've slept with them, and it's nothing more afterwards. So
You hussy,
yeah.
you.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, I mean, you can totally meet at the mind. It's about how you carry yourself afterwards. So, like, you can have great, deep conversation, but it's how you act towards them. If you talk about plans in the future, if you hold them after you have sex, if you so I had this one client who.
Wait, is that good or bad if you're holding him after the sex? Are you saying that
No, you should not be. That's intimate. That's
if
intimacy.
I'm trying, right.
if you're trying to disconnect after sex, you not do
Yeah.
the whole cuddling
No,
thing?
you can cuddle for a second, but I wouldn't say like wake up in the morning and cuddle with each other and snuggle and then say, what do you want to do for breakfast? Like things like that. So I had this one client who contacted me like a long time ago, and he said, I have this issue that all the girls that I sleep with end up falling in love with me. So I said, okay, well, what is it that you're doing? And it ended up that he was doing very boyfriend behaviors. So this one woman who he had slept with, he had learned Tantra like a very long time ago when he was young from this older woman who was like a cougar.
Thank you.
And so that's how he had learned about pleasuring women. So that's, first of all, the experience that he gives to these younger women that he's dating is like a rockin' sexual experience that they've never had before. So right away, that woman's going to be thinking, oh my God, if I'm feeling this with you, we must have some sort of strong connection. Plus, he's having wonderful conversation with them because he's an intellect. But the things that he was doing was that if they were like shaking after they had sex, he would go and he would draw them a bath and he would light them candles and he would, say, go take a bath and he
Jeez,
would
my
wash them
boyfriend
afterwards.
would never do that.
Exactly. But so like things like that were very intimate afterwards and boyfriendy. And he would like cuddle with them and hold them and then talk to them about things. And I don't want you to cut yourself off completely and just be like a dick to girls after you sleep with them. But I think that those things are extremely intimate to do with
And it's
somebody.
mixed messages. If you're going into this saying, well, this is just going to be a one night thing or even a casual relationship, and then you're
Right.
doing all
And
this stuff that is very intimate. So it's
Yeah.
no
And I don't
wonder
think
it's
you're doing those things. I don't think you're going to
Yeah,
that
You're not
extreme.
pouring any
But you're
baths
going
for
to the
anybody.
extreme of probably contacting them the next day and continuing to contact them on a regular basis. So this is like the dumbed down version of it, which I'm guessing you're doing because you're a nice guy.
Yeah.
Or making plans with them. Things that you may not want to be doing or may not know yet that you don't want to be doing, but they're setting you up to say, we're dating,
Yeah.
as opposed to we're having fun and being casual, even though we click at the mind.
Right,
But there's nothing more here. So by saying be more casual, I'm being serious with that. Be more casual and don't
Yeah.
feel the need to have to be that nice guy who then texts every day. And
Yeah. Well, I think my defense mechanism against doing that was I kind of realized that, that's kind of where I'm going, and I'd feel it's never a fun feeling like letting someone down, and also like I feel like I'm kind of there's like a lot of hangups there. So then I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to see anyone for quite some time.
And then he breaks up with people that don't even know they're dating him.
And then I end up in those situations where I'm like, all right, we went on one date, I better call this whole fucking thing off. And so,
they're like, who are you?
yeah.
So
I
you're also
didn't-
taking it more seriously than they are.
Totally. He's had
Well,
a sexual encounter on this talked about on this podcast where this girl's like, hey, it was great sex and that was the end of it. And he was like, what?
I thought we were engaged.
No, I was like, that was not a good experience for me, but it was I don't know. I think I am in a very self-discovery state. This is, I think, what you forget at 29, that it's hard to know what you want and and process like, it's okay to treat someone. I'm okay with treating someone like this. And this is kind of what I expect from this whole
It's
situation.
kind of egocentric to think that you're that great anyway, though. Like, women can be not using you, but enjoying sex with you just as much as you're enjoying sex with them without expecting you to be in love with them.
Totally.
But
I
you've
completely
obviously
agree with
done a
that.
good job as a mom as well because of the way that he's acting towards other individuals, let alone women.
Thank you.
He's very kind.
He's
And considerate towards
he's
other
super kind.
people.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful trait.
I didn't raise no fuckboy.
Yeah.
We've had that.
I know, but he's like,
statement.
all I want to be is a fuckboy. Why can't
No,
No,
we've interviewed those.
It's confusing though,
I know.
because you kind of want everything, but it's hard to get.
Trust me, in my head, I want to be a huge whore. I could never do it.
Why?
Because I don't believe in it. I can't do those things. It's just, I don't even
about
have.
it with your husband. Like, hey, what if we tried?
With my husband, I'm fine with
no,
doing
I'm not
those
bringing
things.
somebody else. And
No, I don't
or
even-
having you open the marriage up to do that.
Because I don't really want to do it. In my mind, I do,
That's
because
what
in my
I'm
mind.
saying. I'm saying the same thing to you that you asked me before. Why don't you go and do the exhibition? Because it's much more.
It's more
almost
fun in
better
your
the
head.
fantasy.
It's more for me. It's even more fun talking about these things and actually doing them sometimes.
There
But again,
you
some of
go.
it may be fear. But like, I could have had multiple opportunities to do very, sexual, open slut. I don't even want to call it slutty anymore. But like,
Why?
just
Slutty is being redefined. We
Okay, good.
We
Then there
just
you go.
interviewed Jupiter Slut.
there you go, fine. But like, so I in my mind would want to do those things, but it's because I think I'm supposed to. Or I think I was supposed to have those experiences, not because I
Exactly.
actually want to do it. And so, but that's about getting to know who you are. And yes, at 29, you may not know that yet,
Right.
And may not be settled with the fact that this is who you are and proud of it and owning it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm like, yeah, this is exact. I'm very comfortable with this. And then there are times where I'm like, but maybe it is that just fear preventing me from going forward with this. And maybe if I took a different angle, I'd find like that there are people that I could be in casual relationships with that So that's where the
Or you
confusion
might
comes in.
find the love of your life, and then you'll change your mind again. Who cares?
Yeah.
You've had good relationships too. He's had good relationships,
Yeah. Thank you.
which is great because I never did. I was like married at 23. I mean, I had like one relationship that I consider like really good before that.
So that's the benefit now to people in their 20s.
Oh,
I think
it's
they do
awesome.
it way better. They're smarter. Like I didn't get married till I was 29. My husband he was 39 when he got married. So he had a lot of fun underneath his belt. And then, he wanted to have kids right away. I'm like, no way. I just started having fun. We're just
Yeah.
enjoying each other. So I made him wait for having kids because I was like, no, I'm enjoying this. Whereas a lot of my friends got married a lot younger and had kids right away. And if I did that, I'm sure I would be saying I was very happy to do that. But I'm happy that I got that time to be me and figure out more about myself before I had kids. Because I honestly, having kids has rocked my world. So I think if I didn't have that confidence that I had built up during that time, I think I would be not as good.
We were talking about that as well. We were just saying how like you have kids young, like, your whole world is just about the kids, and it's not really about yourself.
It's not even close to being about
It's
yourself.
basically, you're a breeder.
Yeah, you are.
Even especially when you go out with the grandparents, it's like everyone's swooping over this child.
We are like 40 minutes in, so I think if we have any final questions,
Man, Kim, I'm sure you got a bunch more for her.
I do. But
Well,
go for it.
let's save them for when we're doing my podcast.
yes. So, how do people find your stuff if they wanted to see your
So
work?
we just We just switched over to Libsyn, which goes onto SoundCloud and iTunes and such. And I think it goes onto all the normal platforms.
It does.
But I'm noticing that like our numbers are a little bit different. So I think it's not going onto some platforms.
We've been
We
going
had
through
the
that.
same
You too?
thing
Okay,
too.
well, that's too.
Yeah,
So
it's a
yeah, so
little
anyway,
screwy.
he finds it on iTunes or most likely on any platform that you're using to find
I found you on
podcasts.
YouTube.
On YouTube. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, so then that was my mistake. So when we went over to Libsyn, it said you can publish to YouTube. So I thought I was going to publish this episode, which I thought was kind of cool to just like do a little video of it. Published all of our podcast episodes all at once, like all 240 of them. So I was like, shit. So I had to take it. It was just
I
way
didn't
too
even know
many.
you could do that. Maybe we should do that.
Yeah, for you guys for sure, but my YouTube channel is my video, so it was just like it wasn't very helpful because I want people to be able to see that there's video content there, not just
Right.
like a whole bunch of podcasts. Anyway, but yes, you can find it on YouTube as well, and just type in "Ask Women Podcast" and then it pops up.
Yeah, I love your podcast. So I highly
Thank
recommend
you.
it to
And
our
I
listeners.
love
I
you.
love your podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, thank you, Marty, for
You're
coming on the show.
welcome.
Marty the Wing Girl.
We often end with the same question, which is: have you ever walked in on a parent or vice versa having sex?
no, I wish I walked into my parents. My parents don't have sex.
How do you know that?
I'm very certain they don't have sex. I'm a very vocal person. I talk to my parents. I know they don't have sex and have not had sex in a very long time.
When did they stop having sex?
That I don't know, but they have been sleeping in different bedrooms since I was a baby.
That's kind of nice.
I mean, it is nice. It is nice as long as they were sneaking up. And I mean,
Yeah.
I have two other sisters, so I know they were having
Apparently
sex
they
at
had
some
sex
point.
3 times.
Exactly, but I don't. They don't anymore. I wish I walked in on them having sex.
That's hilarious.
But they're very open to talking about, like my mom when I was younger, she had like stick figures that she drew of all of my family members naked and would like talk to me about the body and about sex and stuff. So like
great.
she's very comfortable talking about that stuff. But yeah, they don't have sex.
Just wait till your kid walks in on you having sex.
I can't even imagine.
Come back on a podcast and tell us about it.
Yeah.
I will.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We had a pleasure.
Hey, you, this is Marnie, and thanks for listening to the Ask Women podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Take a quick moment to give us some feedback on our iTunes page. We'd really love to know what you think of us. And also, give us 5 stars, just because.